Imagine rebuilding one of the rarest Bugattis ever made, publicly, without factory support, and suddenly attracting the attention of the manufacturer's legal team. Matt Armstrong didn't buy this wrecked Bugatti Chiron. He's helping a friend fix it for a fraction of its $3 million price tag. He planned to rebuild it, document it, share every bolt, every panel, every secret with millions of viewers. But Bugatti didn't plan for this, and neither did Matt plan for what happened next, because this isn't just a rebuild story. This is a battle over control, ownership, and who really decides what you can do with a car you legally own. Here's what's at stake: legal threats, reputation collapse, financial ruin, and potentially life or death consequences. Matt's not just risking his channel, he's challenging the entire hypercar industry's unwritten rules. Rules that say you can own a Bugatti but you don't control it. Before we dive deeper, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because what happens next could change the hypercar world forever. So what exactly did Matt do that triggered this response, and why is Bugatti so terrified of one YouTuber with a wrench? Let's start with the legal pressure. When Matt started posting rebuild videos, Bugatti's legal team didn't send fan mail. They sent warnings, cease and desist letters, trademark concerns, allegations of brand damage. Here's the problem: Bugatti doesn't sell you just a car. They sell you access to an exclusive club, and that club has rules. Rules about where you service the car, who touches it, what you say about it publicly. Matt broke all of them. He sourced his own parts, hired independent mechanics, filmed every flaw, every challenge, every stripped bolt and cracked carbon fiber panel. Bugatti argues this damages their brand image. They claim showing the rebuild process, especially the struggles, undermines the myth of Bugatti perfection. But here's the kicker: Matt's friend legally owns the car. So can a manufacturer really dictate what you do with your own property? That's the legal grey zone Matt just stepped into, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. Bugatti built its empire on one word: exclusivity. Only 500 Chirons will ever exist. Each buyer is hand-selected, vetted, approved. You don't just buy a Bugatti. Bugatti allows you to buy one. And with that privilege comes control. Control over resale, control over modifications, control over image. Matt's rebuild shattered that control. He pulled back the curtain, showed the $40,000 carbon fiber panels, the $15,000 headlights, the engine components that cost more than most people's homes. He revealed that beneath the mystique it's still nuts, bolts, and craftsmanship. And Bugatti hates that, because exclusivity dies in transparency. Every video Matt posts chips away at the myth that only Bugatti-certified technicians can touch these machines. It empowers other owners, other buyers, other rebuilders, and that terrifies the brand. Here's where it gets even more dangerous. A Bugatti Chiron doesn't just go fast, it hits 261 miles per hour. At that speed, a single mistake isn't a breakdown, it's a fatality. This is where Bugatti's legal concerns get deadly serious. If Matt's rebuild has any flaw, a torque spec missed by 5 Newton meters, a carbon panel not bonded perfectly, a brake line with microscopic damage, it could fail catastrophically at top speed. And if that happens, Bugatti's name is attached to the wreckage. Even though they didn't touch the rebuild, the public won't care. The headlines will read Bugatti Chiron crashes at 250 miles per hour, not independently rebuilt Chiron crashes. Bugatti's liability lawyers know this. They know Matt's rebuild, no matter how skilled, introduces variables the factory would never allow. And they know that one failure could trigger lawsuits, recalls, reputation collapse. So their legal pressure isn't just about brand image, it's about survival. But the danger doesn't stop there. Let's talk money. This Chiron was wrecked, being rebuilt, documented publicly. That makes it blacklisted in the hypercar market. No major insurer will touch it at standard rates. Resale value? Plummeted. Even if Matt rebuilds it flawlessly, buyers will hesitate. Because Bugatti maintains a database of every Chiron ever made. VIN numbers, service histories, ownership records, and this car is flagged. Unauthorized rebuild, not factory certified. That label follows the car forever. Bugatti dealers won't service it, collectors won't bid on it, insurers will charge premiums that rival the car's original price. Matt's friend didn't just buy a wrecked Bugatti, he bought a financial trap. And here's the twist. Other hypercar brands are watching. Ferrari, Lamborghini, Pagani, all of them enforce similar control. If Matt wins this fight, if he successfully rebuilds and drives the Chiron without legal or mechanical disaster, it sets a precedent. A precedent that says owners have rights, manufacturers don't own you. And the story isn't just about one rebuild. Matt Armstrong has 2 million subscribers. Every video racks up millions of views. His Chiron rebuild series. It's his most watched content ever. But that attention cuts both ways. If the rebuild succeeds, Matt becomes a legend. The guy who defied Bugatti, who proved hypercar ownership, isn't just for the ultra-wealthy elite with factory techs on speed dial. He becomes the voice of independent rebuilders everywhere, the champion of the right to repair movement in the hypercar space. His channel explodes, sponsorships flood in, and he writes his own ticket in the automotive world. But if it fails, if the car catches fire during testing, or the engine grenades, or worst case something catastrophic happens at speed, his reputation collapses. His sponsors flee, his credibility evaporates. And Bugatti's legal team says we told you so. The internet never forgets a failure this public, this expensive, this spectacular. FellXG, the garage helping Matt, faces the same risk. Their brand is built on high-end builds, precision, trust. One failure tied to this rebuild and clients vanish. The wealthy collectors who bring them Ferraris and McLarens will take their business elsewhere to shops that play by the manufacturer's rules. Meanwhile, the hypercar industry is watching with clenched fists. Because if Matt succeeds, it opens the floodgates. More buyers will attempt independent rebuilds. More YouTubers will expose the costs, the processes, the reality behind the myth. And the exclusivity these brands sell, worth billions, starts to crumble. The entire business model of hypercar manufacturers depends on maintaining that mystique, that aura of untouchability. Matt's wrench is dismantling more than just a wrecked Chiron. He's dismantling the very foundation of how these companies maintain their power over owners. So what happens next? Matt's rebuild continues. The Chiron's carbon body is coming together, the engine is being reassembled, the finish line is in sight. Every panel fitted brings him closer to the moment of truth. The quad-turbo W16 engine, all 1,500 horsepower of it, waits to roar back to life. The transmission, the all-wheel drive system, the active aerodynamics, every system needs to work in perfect harmony, but every bolt he tightens is scrutinized. By Bugatti's legal team, by insurance investigators, by millions of viewers waiting to see if he pulls this off or if the manufacturer finally strikes back. Industry insiders are taking sides, some cheering for the underdog, others warning of the chaos this could unleash. Automotive forums are ablaze with debate. Is Matt a hero or a liability? Is this the future of car ownership or a recipe for disaster? The question isn't just whether Matt can rebuild a Bugatti, it's whether he can survive rebuilding it. Whether his friendship can withstand the pressure, whether his friend's investment will pay off or bankrupt them both, whether the automotive world is ready for what comes next. Matt's rebuild continues, but every next move is watched by Bugatti, the market, and millions of viewers. The stakes have never been higher. In the next video, we'll see whether this rebuild changes the rules for all hypercar owners or if the manufacturer finally strikes back. We'll witness the first start attempt, the moment when months of work either validate Matt's vision or confirm Bugatti's worst fears. Don't miss it. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story is far from over. The battle for the soul of hypercar ownership has just begun.